my Reading for Sure vlog, or welcome back to my Reading for Sure vlog. It's been a little while since I've uploaded another one, simply because we've had Christmas and there's all the family things that happen with Christmas. Then we're into the new term, so getting everyone sorted with their tutoring lessons and all of those sorts of things. Time is just flying. But here we are in 2020. Happy New Year. Let's hope that 2020 is amazing. Right, so what are we going to talk about today? Today, I would like to talk to you about something that I've noticed. After many years teaching literacy, I've noticed that there are many games that we used to play that seem to have gone by the wayside. They've been forgotten. And it's a real pity because they were great learning tools and fun to boot. So, the topic I'd like to talk about today is the old game of I Spy. How can we use I Spy to improve literacy levels in children, young children and older children? So with older children who perhaps are already spelling, we play the traditional game of I Spy with my little eye, something beginning with B, and they've got to go and find, look around wherever they are. Now you might be in the car, you might be at home. Doesn't really matter where you play this, which is why it's a really good game. Something beginning with B. Oh, they look out. Brick. No, not brick. Branch. Yeah, branch it is. And so then it's their turn. And they do the same thing. I Spy with my little eye, something beginning with, and whatever it is. And you go backwards and forwards between whoever's in the car. Whoever solves the problem, of course, gets to have their turn. But what do you do when the children are younger than that? Well, you might have children that are learning their colours. You can play the colour version. I Spy with my little eye something that is the colour blue. And the children have to look around and see what's blue. They might look out and see a blue sign. No, not the blue sign. The blue car. No, not the blue car. The blue sky. Yes, the blue sky. So they get to then have their turn and choose a colour as well. There's another one you can do, a little bit trickier. This one is I Spy with my little eye, something that makes the sound, and you can give a sound. So maybe it's like, oh yeah, cow. So they're a bit easier. So that's quite good for the really little ones. Or you can get a bit trickier, and maybe you're out and about looking around and you might go, I Spy with my little eye, something that goes creak. Could go creak. They're looking around, and you might have been thinking of a gate that can go creak. So that one's going to be a bit harder for them to think about. But that's okay, because what we're teaching the children with this is something that is like used not just in literacy, but in maths, science, all of those things. Process of elimination. I'm also a little stunned that that doesn't seem to be something children do or learn anymore. So if you don't know the answer, you go looking for the clues, you go trying different things until you come up with the right answer. So many children seem to think that they have to immediately say the right answer, and if it's not that, well, they don't know what to do next. So we must encourage them to problem solve, to work out what it might be. Is it this? No, well, that's okay. Is it this? That is so important for all learning, rather than just going, I don't know, and stopping there. So, for literacy, one of the things that we're trying to do when they're just beginning is to extract the sounds in a word so that then they're able to associate that with the letters. So, we can use I Spy to do that. What we need to do is we play the I Spy game just like before, but instead of saying the letter name or the colours or those sorts of things, we say I spy with my little eye something beginning with K. And they've got to look around the room and say some of the things that are around the room. Angel. No, that doesn't start with K. Dog. No, that doesn't start with K. Cupboard. Yes, cupboard starts with K, but that's what I wasn't thinking of that one. Cat. Yes, cat starts with the sound K. So we keep doing that and playing with lots of different sounds so that they can get access to those sounds when they're listening to speech, which means that then with a picture chart of the alphabet, they're able to then do that with the picture chart. So with an alphabet chart, so you've got an alphabet chart and you've got a picture of a dog, they're able to go to the chart, find the picture of the dog. Yep, good, there's a dog. What's the sound of that letter? We don't know yet. Okay. What's that a picture of? It's a picture of a dog. What's the first sound in dog? Dog. D. That's right. So the sound of the picture that starts this picture's name is D. So guess what? That's the name of the letter that's next to it. So that is a D. D for dog. You know now that that letter is a D. And of course you can go through on our chart. We've got the picture of a tap. So have a look. There's a picture of a tap. What's the first sound in tap? Tap. Yeah, it's a T. So that means that letter there is a T. So this gives them really ready access to the alphabet using the alphabet chart. It's much faster than doing one letter a week to learn the alphabet. By the time they get to the end, they've often forgotten them again. So this way, even if they've partly learnt the alphabet, but not all of them, you can use the alphabet chart so that they can be reminded of those ones that they forget. It is important though that you have a really good alphabet chart. There is no point in having an alphabet chart where, for instance, you've got a picture of an owl for the letter O. Because when we say owl, we don't say the sound of the letter O, which is in fact O. We say owl, owl. That's got nothing to do with that letter. So that's a whole different kettle of fish that we need to teach them much later. So make sure your pictures that go with your alphabet chart, that the first sound of the name of that picture is the vowel sound of the letters. So remember, the letters A, E, I, O, and U, that are their names, that their sound is A, I, E, O, and A. So therefore, for the picture for A, apple's a good one. For the picture for it, igloo or ink or something like that. Egg is the great one for orange is a really good one. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but we've certainly got the orange on our chart, which is really good. And umbrella. So those, make sure you have those. And the same thing that some people will perhaps not have the right one for the letter G. Make sure it's a G. So it needs to be a goat, or I suppose you could even have a girl, something like that. But it needs to have the G sound, not the J sound. Same for the letter C. It must be something that starts with K, which is the sound of that letter. And the same, of course, for K. But you certainly wouldn't have a knight in shining armour for Kurt, because Kurt doesn't even sound in night in that word night. So make sure you have the really good alphabet chart to make that work. Attached to the vlog, I've given you a free download of our Reading for Sure alphabet chart. It's really simple to use. It's just in black and white, but you can use that to help work on this idea of connecting the beginning sounds of the word with the letter that's on the page. Really, really important skill. Once they've got that, we can then take them on to do the next thing. So, play lots of I Spy. Remember, I spy my little eye, something beginning with, and it's the sound of the letter. You can play it traveling in the car. You can play it, while you're waiting at some kids are playing football or doing some sport, and you've got a little one that you're trying to entertain. Get them playing those sorts of games. It's great fun, and it really builds up so many skills. Their listening skills, their thinking skills, their process of elimination skills, their problem solving skills. All of these really simple games do so much for developing a child's brain that they will go on and use, certainly for literacy, but as I said, for a whole lot of other things. And the other thing that is really good about playing I Spy, especially if you're traveling in the car, what happens is nowadays, when people travel in the car and they're not driving, they've got their heads buried in some sort of digital device. Now, when you do that, you are not taking in all of that visual stimuli that's out there, and they're not learning about the world that's around them. And that is another thing that is causing us a lot of difficulty with students, is that to be able to comprehend information in a story, you have to have some sort of basic knowledge. And so if you don't have that basic knowledge about, look, what a fence is, even. I've had children in grade 2 that can't explain what a fence is. Now that is something that's on every property, that if you go in the country, you'll see fences to keep the cows in. All of those things help them get meaning from the text. So we can get them to read the words, but reading is that first step. We want them to comprehend and understand and be able to use the information that they know to help them infer as well what's in a story, because it's not always is all the information in the story. But if you don't have some understanding about, say, what a farm is, you're not going to be able to understand about, so like raking the hay. First of all, they have to know what a rake is, and so many modern children, because they don't have gardens, don't know what a rake is. So we have to work on, those sorts of things we just take for granted that they will know what they are, but they don't. Hay, what is hay? Not everybody knows what hay is. So when you're out and about, give them the opportunity, encourage them to ask questions, but also make sure you point out these things and give them a name. So, oh, look over there, I can see the bridge. It's a very big bridge. It's a brick bridge, or it's a wooden bridge. All of those extra describing words, and I know I've talked about this in the earlier vlogs, but once we've got them heading towards real reading, it becomes so important that they have a broader vocabulary and an understanding of the world around them. So, like I like to say, enjoy spending time with your children. It will really pay off in the end. It will save you so much money. Even though we run a specialist literacy centre where we help children who are behind in their literacy, in a way, in my heart, it would be lovely if none of the children had to come and see us, because they were getting all of the things that they needed from home, from the parents interacting with them, and then from school. But unfortunately, sometimes that isn't enough. Even if it's wonderful, it might not be enough. So they have to come along to a specialist reading centre like ours, where we can help work on those skills that for all sorts of reasons their brain hasn't been able to take on. So play with the kids, have fun, enjoy the road journeys by playing games. And next vlog, if you're able to come along and watch, we're going to be talking about the really into a bit more depth about the sounds in English and how we need to deal with those using the alphabet chart, and just understanding that whole idea that letters have names, and that more importantly, they have the sounds, and that's what we use to learn to read. Have a great time, and I'll be back with another vlog soon.